Hi everybody, today we will be looking at the child safeguarding assessment form and how to complete it, and as part of that we'll be looking at how to record alerts and also looking at case notes. So we'll start off with the safeguarding assessment, which you can find under either the client or the clinical docs tiles. It doesn't matter which one you go into. So we'll go into this one and we're going to click on care documents. So the first thing you're going to click on is create a new assessment, and if you're only in one team this menu won't pop up. It will just purely put the team that you're a member of into this box. I'm going to have to choose one because I'm in lots of teams. Press accept changes and then this pops up, and as per normal where it says assessment type code, what you need to do is you just need to place an asterisk in that box. If it says include team restricted codes as well as search, you want to click on include team restricted codes so that you do get the chance to find this form if it isn't part of your list of forms that you see when you click search. So on this list I've got 62 forms, and this is called the child safeguarding assessment. I can just scroll down, or I could simply just type in the word child and there I can find it. So the first thing you're going to remember is that this form can be saved multiple times, and you do want to make sure that you save as you go along. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put in the date, and you've got two shortcuts for dates. You can either use Control-T equals today's date, or you can just press F4 on your keyboard and that brings up the calendar. Okay, so you must record accurately what date you did this assessment. If it was yesterday, then you choose 11. So now I've selected that, that's enough in order for me to save the form, and it will now appear over here on the history bar. So that's the form ready to go, and now we're going to focus on the rest of the form.
The child safeguarding assessment can be used by anybody who uses Paris. So you can, if you work in CAMS, you would open one on the child's record, or if you're working in an adult service, then you would open a child safeguarding assessment on the parent or carer for whom you have safeguarding concerns for their child. There's two reasons that you would open a child safeguarding assessment. One is because you're making a new safeguarding referral for a child, or number two, if you're working already with a child who's on a child protection plan, a child in need plan, or who is a looked after child, you can use this form to record multi-agency meetings and safeguarding supervision. The child safeguarding assessment has been designed so it can stay open or unauthorised for the entire safeguarding journey. So the only times that you might authorise this form is when the safeguarding episode is complete or when the child has been discharged from your service.
When you're in this form and you're having to complete information, it doesn't matter if you save this form multiple times. In fact, that's what we want you to do. There is a 30-minute timeout warning on Paris, and this means that whilst you're typing into a form, whether that's inserting a row, ticking a box, or writing something directly into a field, it's not going to recognise anything other than you pressing save. So throughout this video we will be reminding you to keep saving the form.
So the current status section, this is here for you to tick whether a child is currently on a child protection plan, a child in need plan, or is a looked after child. If the child isn't on a plan currently, then please tick the no current plan box. If you select the looked after child plan box, automatically a legal status free text field will open underneath, where you could type, for example, section 20 or a special guardianship order. Please note that by ticking one of these boxes does not automatically update the safeguarding alert. So you still need to go to the alert section to review and update the safeguarding alert on the record. So when you are making a safeguarding child referral, you now need to complete the table in the section Safeguarding Referrals and Outcomes. Click on Insert a Row, enter the date that you have made the referral. You would then enter a summary of the concerns. You can copy and paste this from your actual safeguarding referral. If you have a referral reference number, you can enter it into the box. And please also enter the DATEX number here as well. A DATEX must be completed for every safeguarding child incident, because it's how incidents are reported within the trust, and it's also where we pull data for report purposes on safeguarding children incidents. So you must please do a DATEX. After every safeguarding referral, we do ask that you discuss this referral with a senior practitioner within your team, and we must be notifying the GP of once a referral is made. You can inform the GP either by telephone, email, or you can include the information within your consultation letter. Any comments about who you may have discussed the referral with can be entered into the comments box below. Here is an example of a completed referral. Once you've entered this detail, you're going to press Accept Changes. You can scroll down to the bottom of the child safeguarding assessment to the attachment section, and by clicking Insert a Row, you can now upload your copy of the actual safeguarding referral that you have made.
Just to note that there is a video available that's called Adding an Attachment on the A to Z videos on Paris Help under the Hive.
The other thing that you now need to do, now that you've completed a referral, is make sure that you update the risk assessment with this safeguarding risk. So you should find out the outcome of your referral within 3 working days. If Children's Services haven't been in contact with you, it remains your duty as the referrer to contact them to find out the outcome. This is clinically relevant information that must be recorded on the record. To record the outcome, either double click on the row that's already there, or you can select Modify a Row. This brings the table up. We'll go to the bottom and we'll enter the date that you have been notified of the outcome by Children's Services. You can then enter the referral outcome. When you press the button, you'll see that a list comes up. So you can either select Accepted for Assessment, Early Help, Information, Linked to Existing Referral. You would use that if the child is already open to Children's Services. We then have MASH, which is the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub. We have No Further Action, and SASH is the Specialist Adolescent Service. If at the time that you contact Children's Services, they say an assessment has been done by MASH and it has then subsequently been closed, please record the outcome as MASH, because that demonstrates that an assessment has taken place by Children's Services. You would then, once you've chosen your option, press Select, and then there's a comments field where you can enter any information about the liaison that you've had with Children's Services in this box. You can then press Accept Changes and then save the form.
So we've completed a section here that says Outcome Comments, but you'll notice that there happens to be like a little red wiggly line under the word Children's, and this is because this has brought up a misspell or incorrect word from the spell check, and all you need to do is hover over that word, right click on the mouse, and then it will give you some options, or you can actually go into the full-blown spell check, especially if this is a real word that you want to add to your dictionary, okay? Or you can even do it from here. So I'm just going to change that, and I'm going to do exactly what we just said, which is accept changes and save the form.
The meetings and reviews section is there for you to record any multi-agency meetings that take place for the child or family in relation to the safeguarding concerns. First, select Insert a Row. The table then pops up and you're going to insert the date of the meeting, the type of the meeting, so you have a selection of different types of meetings to choose from. You'll press select, and then you're going to record if somebody, either yourself or someone from your team, has attended the meeting and if a report has been sent in advance of the meeting. If someone did attend, then it will come up with the box to prompt you to write the name of the staff member in there who has attended. So if a report was sent, you can tick yes or no here. And then we have a comments box where you can record any highlights from the meeting or perhaps decisions made. At the bottom then we have the outcome. So the outcome options will be different depending on the type of meeting that you have selected higher up. So we pick one of the examples here and then press select. Then you're going to select the date of the next meeting, and this is really important in case the case is transferred to another team, or you're not available to attend, or somebody else takes over the care of this patient, that it's obvious that there is an upcoming meeting that the clinician needs to prioritise.
So remember, guys, that you can choose F4 on your keyboard, which will bring up the calendar, and you can go right forward into future dates by just clicking on the arrow. So if we have to then put a date in the future, then we can do that very simply by just selecting the date, and then we're ready to accept the changes and save.
Multiple meetings can be recorded here. So in our example, if an initial child protection conference has now taken place, we will go to Insert a Row, the date of the initial child protection conference, choose the type of meeting, so initial CP conference, select. Again, we would expect somebody to be attending the conference, and again, you'd enter the name. With all child protection conferences, a report must be sent in advance and it must be shared with the family before the meeting. Again, you can add any comments about anything that particularly has stood out from that meeting. You can then select the outcome at the bottom. And in this instance, the child has been placed on a CP plan for physical abuse. Select, and then the date of the next meeting will likely be in 6 to 12 weeks' time. Press accept changes and save. The child safeguarding assessment also includes a supervision section. This can be used to record your discussion about a referral with a senior clinician, or it can be used as part of your MDT. To enter some information, again, go to Insert a Row. You'll then select the date you've had supervision, the type of supervision. For these purposes, it will always be safeguarding. You can then enter the name of the supervisor and the supervisee. And then you can just bullet point the discussion that you've had, and then any actions that you now need to carry out. So here's an example of a completed supervision record. We're now going to accept the changes and save. And it's always useful at the next supervision session to pull this back up so that you can review whether the actions from the previous supervision have been carried out. So the child safeguarding assessment has been designed that you can keep it open, so unauthorised, for the entire safeguarding episode or until you're discharging a child or parent from your service. when this happens, this is the time that you're now going to complete the end of episode section. So if the safeguarding is now complete, you're going to tick safeguarding episode complete, and then you're going to put a comment in here. Child is no longer on a child protection plan, and then you're going to save the form. If, however, the child or parent has been discharged from your service, you're going to tick the discharge from HPFT service box, and you'll see these other options come up. It then asks you if now at the point of discharge, if the child still remains on a child protection plan, a child in need plan, or is a looked after child. If the child is not on any of those plans, just leave those blank. If the child is still on a child protection plan or child in need plan, it's now prompting you underneath to make sure that you have informed the local authority social worker and any other professionals of that discharge. You can then enter comments below about which professionals you may have shared information about the discharge with. If you tick the looked after child plan, an extra field comes up to prompt you to make sure that you have told the looked after child health team that this child has now been discharged from the CAM service. So again, you would tick yes, and you can enter any comments below about who you have shared information with, and then you can save the form. Once you've completed the end of episode section, please go to form authorization. This is where you'll click authorise form, yes, authorise by, and this can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a team leader who does this. It can be the person who has completed the form. Any comments you may wish to add. And please remember, once you have authorised this form, no further changes can be made. So once authorised, the form now shows as completed and it cannot be further edited. If a child gets re-referred back into your service and you now need to open a new child safeguarding assessment, you follow the same procedure, going via care documents to create a new assessment. You will then complete the form as you previously did, so you'll select what the current status of the child is, and you will now notice that any previous information on referrals, meetings and supervision has pulled through from a previously reported child safeguarding assessment. This will also happen if a different team within HPFT has been involved and have also completed a child safeguarding assessment. This means that the whole child safeguarding chronology will all be found in one place on this child safeguarding assessment.
So once you have completed the form and it now says completed, then we need to understand and show you how you can print the form. And you can print it onto a paper version, or you can change it into a PDF document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up to the top of the screen, and wherever you see the word close, which is just above any document that you go into, it's not just care documents, you will find that's where you will see the print option. Okay, so I'm going to click on print. Because this is a specifically special form, it's got its own print profile. So CSGA is the one you should be using. If you choose to use the one below it, it will literally print the form off as you see on the screen. So this will be a specific print profile that has been set up. Okay, now I've got a default of Microsoft Print to PDF. So if that isn't your default printer, what you do is you click on the little symbol at here, and you will have the name of the printer, and you have an arrow where you can choose which one. So all you need to do is choose either of these, it doesn't matter, Microsoft Print to PDF, and press OK. Okay, now it's going to give you a preview of the form, and that's good. That's always ticked. If it isn't ticked for you, make sure you do, so you can at least now see what the form's going to look like. You then press accept changes. and this is the format that it comes out in. Okay, it will always have the service user details at the top that you would see, so it will display the Paris ID, and as you can see, it works its way through the form, just, I guess, giving a summary of information. And you can see where there are tick boxes, you've got a little tick in those boxes. Okay, so it looks like it will generally go over 3 pages. So what you must remember to do at this point is, although this is a PDF document and you may be thinking I'm going to press save, you mustn't do that. What you need to do is continue to print the form. This is why it's called print to PDF, and when I click print, it will now take me to an area of Paris which will be one of your shared drives. So remember that you've got 2 drives. One of them is your H drive, which is your home drive, and then you've got your S drive. So all patient identifiable data must be saved on a shared drive. You must not save things onto your desktop. Okay, so you can go into your shared drive, and in this case we're just using this as an example. You're then going to call it whatever the form is. It's already got it as type PDF, and you're going to press save. Now all you need to do is press close, which brings you back to the form, and then what you do is you go and find your shared drive. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up. I'm going to go into my home drive, and I'm going to go into my attachments for Paris, and there's my form that I've just printed. And if I double click, you can now see a copy of the form, which means that if you need to email this to the GP, because they're on NHS email and it's encrypted, this is perfectly acceptable for you to attach this into an email and send it to anybody who has got NHS email set up.